when you first started, what was your motivation, or what? I wanted to know if there was somebody that inspired you, that you saw that was doing this before you started doing it, or was this all just you?
Well, mostly it was me because I'm an Air Force brat. We moved every 2 years. My dad was really interested in showing us the country, so we made two big trips across all the way across the U.S. So, and my family, we've done the family history, and they were nomads almost. They were pioneers,
Oh,
early pioneers, and they
okay.
moved a lot. So there's a lot of travel in my genes. And I always wanted to be a travel writer. I'm a storyteller. I've written a couple of books, and I was a storyteller before I was 2 years old. My mom said I was going around telling complete stories to strangers. So, and travel. So, I even had a little hobby video business, probably 5 or 10 years before there was a YouTube. Back when cameras had to be on your shoulder, they were so big.
I remember those
Yeah, I
cameras.
actually had a little hobby business where I did documentaries and commercial things and all kinds of things. So I had a little video experience, although I didn't do anything in many years after that. But I knew how to tell a story also with video. So I've done public speaking. I'm a writer. I do a lot of creative things, and right now all my creativity goes into YouTube.
Very
So to
nice.
me, it's kind of a three-dimensional thing.
Mm-hmm.
Videos are it's more of a complete picture, certainly, than a canvas or something or a book.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really enjoying this medium. So that was a big, those two things, creativity, storytelling, video, and travel. So that was really what I wasn't sure exactly how I would travel, but I thought I would. In fact, I went to buy a Sprinter van, a big, beautiful Class B.
Yeah.
And the day I was going to write a check for it, I had a bad hip day. Couldn't
Right.
get in it.
Yeah.
So this is not going to work full time for me with hip issues.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. I thought it was a compromise at the time to go in a minivan, but turns out I really love it. It's very comfortable, so maneuverable and easy to drive, park anywhere. It's a luxury car, drives and rides like a luxury car, so it's not a compromise. I've got everything I need in there. I look forward to getting in the back. It's that comfortable. And for inspirations, yeah, there were some YouTube inspirations. Bob Wells, I watched him in the very early days, Carolyn's RV, and Robin from Creativity RV, and probably others,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but that was actually after.
So were they inspiration for you to start a channel?
No, I always knew I'd, in fact, more than a year before I started my channel, I locked down butterfly tracks because I knew that was me. I was going to escape a cocoon,
It's perfect
and
for you.
yeah, it just, I knew I had to have that.
You put it out to the universe, and
Yeah,
you got
yeah, for
what
sure.
you
Well,
needed.
I believed I could, so I did.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. And now you're an inspiration for others, and there are so many that have found out that they can step out because of your channel and because of your videos and showing them how to.
mhm,
And now you have these ladies that are starting YouTube channels
yeah,
because you're showing them again
yeah,
how
how
they
to
can
do
do
it.
that. And we appreciate you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I wanted to ask you how your family felt when you first started.
Well, I would say a couple of them were angry. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't. You can't do this. And the people that were telling me that had RVs and went camping and all that. But I'm sure it was only concern. My family is very much behind what I'm doing now. Now they understand once they've seen me do it, and they've seen the fabulous places that I've been, and so they get to live vicariously through my videos, and
Isn't
they
that
really,
awesome?
really enjoy watching my videos. My mom's my biggest fan.
Yeah, that's something that they'll always have
Hmm.
of you,
Hmm.
and
It's
it's
a
something you
legacy.
always have. Maybe they thought you needed a big RV to do it.
Maybe, yeah. Um, Yeah, I mean, you can't stand up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the funniest thing to me because I can reach everything in there right from my bed,
Yeah.
and I have everything I need. It's so comfortable. And when I had to temporarily rent something larger, I thought, well, what is the point of this? I don't have any more in here. There's just floor space. So I have to walk from here to there, take 5 or 6 steps, and sometimes it was like not
Level.
stable feeling. The floor moved a little bit,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't comfortable walking around in there. And let's say I could stand up in my minivan, I could take 1 step. That's all I could take if I stood up, so that'd be kind of silly. No, my bedroom is very small, but my living room is literally nearly 3 million square miles.
Oh,
That's my living room.
I
3 million,
love that.
almost 3 million square miles is mine.
Oh,
The north and the south are mine. The east and the west are mine. It all belongs to me.
yeah, I like
Well,
that.
this land is your land. This land is my land, right?
I
No.
like that you said that. Some people say things like one of the other ladies mentioned, "You're never too old to have a good childhood."
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's for sure.
yeah.
It's very freeing, very. Your inner child does come out. It's like, wow, every day was wow. I want to take a picture of every leaf. Oh, look at the light, the way it's hitting that tree. And look at this, and wow, wow, wow. I mean, it didn't even have to be mountains.
No.
It could be,
No.
the twist of the limbs on those trees over there.
Exactly. These trees are amazing out here.
Yeah,
The sunset
the
last
light
night
has
was beautiful over the
The
lake.
light and the sky have
Yeah.
been very fascinating to me. I could be going across what they say are boring parts of certain states, to be unnamed, but the sky can be so magnificent that's the draw. You don't have to travel for the sky. If I ever become completely disabled, I will still go out and watch the sky. It has moods. It's very alive. It's just a magnificent artistic display at all times.
It
Today
is.
it's a little overcast, but
Look at these trees.
yeah,
It's
you can
beautiful
just be
here.
fascinated.
That's
That
all.
sense of awe. The sense of awe.
Yeah. So
And really the vastness of this country. You can't. I've been all across it several times. I've been with views that are unimaginable. Just you can't wrap your head around how vast this country is. You just can't. Even if you're there looking at it, it's like it just doesn't seem real, And it's just like nice to go out and discover that it is real. That you don't have to watch it on a big screen TV. It really is out there.
well, that leads me to another question that I had for you, which was, where do you see yourself in years from now, like as far as your travels go? Because you've done a lot of traveling.
Oh my gosh!
And I
yeah,
was
every year.
curious if you plan to go back and recap on places that you've been, or if your goal is just to keep seeing all new things.
New. I know I have friends that go to the same campground every year, and I'm thinking, oh boy, you're missing so much. And it's a lot of times
Guilty.
sometimes my favorite places, it's beautiful places. I think it's kind of bittersweet knowing that you'll never be back there again. It makes you appreciate it more because there's always something else, always something more fabulous. And yes, I mean, on rare occasions, I might happen to stop by the same place because it's on my way somewhere.
Yeah.
But my goal is to see everything I can.
And I think it's just amazing.
Well, when I started out, I didn't see, there probably were, but I didn't see any other women that were 71 solo. You saw a lot of young couples, young women in their bikinis and everything with the back door open laying on the bed. That wasn't going to be me. And, and older couples. But I didn't see any really senior women, anybody 71 years old when I started. I'm 74 now. And so I didn't have anybody as an inspiration there, but I didn't see why I couldn't do it. I mean, I never had traveled by myself before, even though I had traveled because of my parents being in the service, and I'd done a little bit of traveling with a family, but never completely alone. My first full year was completely alone. That changed the
Wow.
second year with people everywhere. We got a huge community now.
Yes.
But the first year, there's something very freeing about when you travel alone. If you're seeing something magnificent, it's nice to share it. But it's not the same experience if you're there by yourself, totally immersed in the moment. And you can't do that if someone else is there. Much as I love having people around, you really can't, it's not as meditative because that you're aware of that person there. You know, you feel like you should be talking, or even if you're both sitting there silently, you're aware. You're not completely focused on that mountain or sunset or whatever it is. And you're not completely free to go wherever you want, whenever you want, without saying, hey, I'm going over here, because it would be really rude to just take off and not say where you're going.
Yeah, that's a
there's
very good point.
There's an extra measure of freedom to doing things solo, and I wouldn't suggest you do it for a full year. I think you really need community, and it's a very good feeling to have people with you. But there is that little difference there that sometimes, you know, if you're in a special place, to go take a moment.
So the last thing that I want to touch on is about that community and about this movement and about the whole blossoming of women and their later years, because
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Well, it started really. I mean, like I said, my first year was completely alone, but I was starting to get comments, and the comments were a yearning, a desire, a compulsion. I got to get out of here. I need to go see the world, and maybe it's because they're realizing maybe the days are getting shorter. Maybe there's less time. You know how awful it would be, like Thoreau said, to go to the end of your life and realize you never lived. And some people, you know, if a little cottage with your garden and cooking and little hobbies and stuff, if that's your cozy place, that's what you should do, because that's beautiful too. But there are a lot of women who just want to see the world. They want to get out there. There's a lot out there. These beautiful places are there waiting for you to go there.
And my little slogan is, get going while the getting's good.
Yes, exactly right. But if you have a little bit of desire to do it, start cheap. I was determined. I was totally focused. I had thought about it for so long. I had designed, and I already bought a lot of things, and I was already making my little space, you know, before I took off. But if you're just thinking, well, should I even go to that much trouble? You know, make a little place in whatever you've got, and you know, just go. Your driveway, I didn't do that. I just took off. I went to work in California. I didn't go to a park or anything like that. I just went.
Yeah, I see a lot that say, I did it in my driveway just to see if I could do it, and more power to them if that's what they need to get started.
But if you don't, it's not for everyone. On my recent video was a 74-year-old living her dream or something like that, and one comment was, her dream, not mine. Okay, well, that's okay. Do what you need to do it. That's the main thing. Whatever your thing is, if you want to go back to school and become a lawyer and you're 71 years old, go do it.
Yes.
You know, if you want to, whatever it is, write a book. I don't care whatever it is, but it starts with research.
Yeah.
Whatever project you have.
And
it takes a little research first,
yeah,
and then you have to actually do it. So
well,
whatever it is, follow your dream, your bliss, whatever it is. That may or may not be van life. For me, it was van life because of absolute freedom. I sold my house. I had a bad experience with keeping part of a mortgage on a house I sold. I had a bad experience with renting a house. So I couldn't even imagine having that sitting there. I knew I was going to travel for most of a year, if not a year or more, and I wasn't sure I was going to be coming back. So I couldn't imagine letting it sitting there, you know, mold and mice and whatever you have to think. I didn't want that on my mind, and I didn't want even a storage unit. So I wanted complete freedom, nothing on my mind, no anchors.
But it is pretty obvious that it does resonate with a large group of senior women.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, your channel has exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Your Facebook tribe, butterfly tribe, has exploded. So,
A lot of like-minded women,
mhm,
really like-minded. It's the freedom, it's that feeling alone. It's you can't even describe that kind of freedom. Turn left, turn right. I mean, I plan a little bit, but I'm not stuck with anything. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want.
yeah,
And I think that resonates with them a little bit. But seeing these beautiful places, they're out there. What a shame to never see them. What a shame.
right.
So I think that's a lot of the motivation, but it was bittersweet seeing a lot of the comments on my channel like, oh, I want to do this so bad. I mean, they were just yearning to do it, and I wanted to let them know that you can.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
It's really not. Now, I have some disability. I have trouble walking. Some days I can walk pretty normal. Some days I can't get by without using 2 canes, walking sticks. So I have some disability. I'm not rich by far. So, if some things that you need a vehicle, you need a few basic things, a comfortable bed, food, a way to eat. But don't think you can take off across the country like I have without having at least an emergency fund. If you're doing it to really save money, and that's a completely different aspect of van life, if you're doing it because you are homeless or because that's the only way you can make ends meet right now, that's going to mean living in a city pretty much. And I haven't really experienced that. That's a completely different thing, and I've had on some of the van tours, people have asked, well, you're home, about the woman that's there. It could be like you asking if you're homeless, and you're certainly not. I know women in this movement who live in very upscale homes, huge, 3 stories in one case, beautiful neighborhood, beautiful. She's wealthy, but she spends a lot of her year traveling in a tiny little van.
And that's what
And
she wants
that's
to
because
do.
it's the freedom of that, the community and the freedom.
Yeah.
So, it's really not about whether you're homeless or you're out here. I mean, if I was in a $500,000 class A, I don't think they'd call me in that. If I was full-time in that, they wouldn't ask me if I was homeless. It's kind of like the people in a penthouse and the people in a horrible neighborhood apartment, a horrible apartment and a penthouse. There's a whole world of difference. And van life has that many different things. Just because you live in a penthouse apartment doesn't mean you're in a stinky little apartment with rats or something. There's a scale there.
There is, yeah. So we're a lot of like-minded women from a lot of different walks of life, and we
Completely.
all have this camaraderie now and this community, and
It's beautiful.
it is.
Well, I kind of liken it to a wheel, with spokes. We come from completely different backgrounds. When we come here, we all come to the center, and there at the hub, at the center, there's a heart connection.
Yeah. Thank you, Janet, for doing
You're
this
welcome.
video,
Well, thank
this
you for
interview.
the first meetup. You had that first meetup. It was on March the 3rd of 2022.
Yes.
And then I had a lot of meetups there, and then you had 100 van meetups. So we just continue that tradition.
We do. And now we're here with a lot of other ladies in their vans enjoying nature and this beautiful weather, and we're having fun together doing potluck dinners, and we're going to do a little carnival and be kids again for
so
a couple
much
of
fun.
hours this afternoon. I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, so people feel maybe it is a second childhood, I don't know, but it's a whole new phase of life. A whole new phase of life. A lot of the ladies here are married, but a lot of them are single too. One way or another, the guy's not there anymore. The kids certainly aren't there anymore in most cases.
Right.
And they've got a whole new chance to do something really big. Make a bigger life, not just a recliner.
Yeah.
Hey, I love recliners though, and I don't nothing against a recliner. I just don't want to be glued to it.
Well, thank you again, and I will be getting this uploaded and on the channel, and we'll see you guys down the road. Bye.
Bye.